All right, man, you interrupting the Zoom unless you want to be on it. You want to be on it, Howard?
Man, you watching this shit?
Which one? Indiana?
No, New Mexico and Yukon.
Is it a final yet?
Like 6 seconds. This motherfucker had 37 points. He's scoring from everywhere.
I don't like UConn anyway, man. I'm gonna call you after I do this Zoom.
Will McNair, big Will McNair.
Will McNair done knocked off motherfucking Hurley. I just told Bass, I said, all the basketball fans in the city don't even know his kid played at Martin Luther King. They don't know.
And he played for Philly Pride.
Yeah, if you well, I saw him in Philly Pride sneakers wearing a We Are One uniform.
That did happen, but then remember he came back. That all happened in the same season. Then he came back.
He had the black and orange sneakers on with the blue We Are One jersey on. I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Nah, but he finished the season with us. He came back. What happened was he was behind Big John. And you know how that's gonna go, Dell. Yeah. So when we moved Big John on, he came back.
All right. Well, I don't wanna keep Perry up too late, man.
Nah, I'm all right now.
So look. Sports here. The first night of the NCAA tournament. I think it's a great time to get together to have these guys, my guests today. It's an all-star lineup, people. It's an all-star lineup. We're going to talk a little bit about the situation that's being faced by young people. In particular, we want to really focus on the high school kids and how their recruitment process is being impacted by the presence of all of these older guys jumping around in that portal with immediate eligibility. So to talk to me about this stuff, I gathered up Amauro Austin, longtime Philadelphia writer, historian, and current co-director of the Philly Pride Basketball Club, and Mark Bass. He did 40 years at St. Jude's as an assistant coach with Phil Martelli, and he played there too. I mean, he's just a hawk till the day he died, I guess. And last but not least, my man, he's a new rookie, fellas. You know, Perry out here in this sportcasting business, he's starting over. He has demonstrated why he was so successful as a coach. Because, man, he over-prepares for these games, Mark. He just asks you what kind of cheese do he like in his macaroni. How he like his steak.
Well, he had to keep. Questions. Well, I go back to watching Coach Clark back in the Tulane days when he had 2 starting 5s. So he had to keep Jokers happy back then, man.
It's always about keeping us happy, man. Ain't nothing changed now, you know. Yeah, so gotta understand what makes them tick.
It's like recruiting, right, Coach? You gotta get all the information you can get when you on the air.
You really need that, you know. And plus, you really want to represent the kids. You want to represent who's helped them, who's developed them, and who's brought them to where they are. And really tell the whole story, because a lot of times that whole story doesn't get told.
Well, yeah. I mean, the response to Perry from the Temple faithful, whenever he does the Temple game, has been tremendous, because he always dropped 2 or 3 of those old 1970 John Chaney stories on him, Omar. You know, they didn't have, enhance their background.
There was one I wanted to share, and I couldn't fit it in. And that's when I called him. They were getting ready to play Duke to go to the Final Four in the regional. And I called him up early in the morning and I said, Coach, I gave him the whole Duke stuff because I was at Georgia Tech and all like that. He listened patiently. Then when he got finished, he said, Perry, you do know I ain't changing shit. I got Mark Macon. He was very polite. And he said, Perry, I ain't changing shit. I got Mark Macon.
but let's listen to what Coach said. He said that he want to represent the kids well. And I think now with the landscape, Coach, a lot of people are not representing these kids well. As far as recruiting, telling them what's the right level for them. And I think that's why we got over 1,000 in transfer in the portal, because they're not telling the kids the truth. And it's a shame out there.
Before we dive into that heavy, let's just set the table then. Let's just describe the market that exists for 17, 18, 19-year-old high school seniors as it exists today to the market that existed, let's say, 2016, 2017. What are some of the major differences? I'm going to start with Amauro here because he's been chomping at the bit for a few weeks to really bite into this problem. Go ahead, Amauro. What's the difference?
Well, the difference in market is, so let's specify here. So when you're looking at bigs, high school bigs, the market really hasn't changed. High school bigs are always going to be a commodity because there aren't as many of them as there in every other position. So bigs are fine. A big is always going to be able to eat out here because that's just they're scarce. Wings and forwards, the market has changed a little bit for them. I mean, you may have to go a level down now, but I think most of the time the wings and forwards still find their way to their destination. Guards, the market has changed dramatically because now if you're a low to mid major level guard, you may not get anything. You may not get what you're looking for because of the portal. Guys want to get the older guys. Guys want to get the prep school and JUCO guy. Guys want to get the transfer, the grad transfer. There's so many layers to it, and guards come a dime a dozen, as the saying goes. A lot of those guys they're in the back of the line, and we've seen some instances here where we've had some guys who had scholarship offers. The scholarship offers dried up, and they left out here still looking around, trying to find something and waiting for something that's probably not going to happen. So it's a really, really, really tough market, especially for the point guard, the low to mid major point guard. Very tough market. I joke when I say this, but I would, if I got a scholarship offer, if I was one of those guys from a Division I would accept it before I get off the phone. I'm joking, but I'm serious. And I was like, look, I'll come see it later. I'll take that before I get off the phone. Because that market is really, really, really drying up.
Perry, I see you shaking your head. You in agreement with some or all of what Amauro said?
Yeah, without question. From a college coach's perspective, I think being able to get a proven commodity and knowing what you getting because they've already played against a level of competition is better than getting an high school player in a lot of places that you really don't know what you're getting. And now, back about 5 years ago, all the kids used to say, I want to go pro. All right. Now the college coaches say, well, go play for go pro. We're going to take a guy in college that wants to play here, and it's the marketplace has changed. And I think the kids have to adapt to the change. And I think they need to. In fact, I had a conversation with a couple of college coaches about that. Kids need to be quicker in the way they evaluate where they want to go, quicker taking the offers, because schools are not, a lot of people are not waiting, and they believe the portal is a quick fix. Now, I don't think it's quite the quick fix that a lot of colleges want to say it is, but I do think that with this change, high school coaching, high school kids, people that advise high school kids, unless he is really special, I think they need to do their evaluation quicker and jump on scholarship offers faster.
Bass?
I agree with both of them. It's just I'm in high school now. I'm a high school coach now. So I believe I have two guys that are Division I, definitely Division II, but it's the selling point of saying, look, fellas, we need to get somebody to pay your bills. And I think you have to be upfront and truthful with these guys when you're being evaluated and let them go, this might just be your level. So don't be afraid of it. Embrace it and go for it. You know, get that education. The basketball going to be there for you. But I agree with both of their statements that you got to be evaluated. And as for a guard, take what out there because they're getting older. College coaches want older guys. If you look at the tournament now and you see the starting five, you see a lot of grad transfers,
23, 24 years old.
Yes.
If let's try to set at least some context for a person, really a parent that's listening to this, they really won't understand what I'm about to say. For the college kids that are thinking about or joining the portal, how easy is it for Perry or Bass to go into the office and pull up every jumper that they ever took from the left side of the court? I mean, you can really evaluate college players as opposed to having to get on a plane and go see a high school player. I mean, any college player playing in any one of the conferences across the country. Am I right?
Yeah. Oh, without question. Yeah, without question. You can go and pull up the information and everything. And there are a lot of schools that do that because of their budget, number one. Number two, because they don't necessarily are familiar with the neighborhoods that the kids come from. So it's easier to go and watch them on film and kind of evaluate that. And so, you know, but it's like anything else. I think, you know, times are changing and, you know, change is inevitable. You know, the ability to adapt to it is optional. And I just think that, you know, you have an option of whether or not you're willing to adapt. And if you don't, you could get left behind. But the way this portal is, you know, the portal basically, there's no responsibility. You can make a choice and there's no responsibility. You choose to go to Connecticut, you don't like it there. So the next year I transfer to, you know, St. Joe's or, you know, and I can play right away. So there's no penalty or there's nothing that hurts me with making my decision. If I don't like it, I just change. And that's created the portal. And a lot of coaches like to shop out of the portal.
So Amauro, how do we get a kid? Say I am a kid and I played 17 and under last year. I did well. Everybody, all my homies telling me I'm D1, but I really don't understand that I'm fighting against Sam Sessoms for that scholarship right now. I'm fighting against all 900 some odd kids in that portal, plus all the guys around my neighborhood and all the high school guys, plus the JUCO guys, plus the prep guys. I don't get the sense that the high school coaches and the AAU coaches have been able to communicate to parents and to the kids how different things are. You think am I missing that point?
Oh, you're spot on. You're spot on, and they're spot off. See, with the problem is this: the longer the season goes, the more options colleges have. So if I'm that player on that team, and let's say I got an offer in the summer, and I got one offer that summer, take it and run, and take it before it's not there anymore. Because the longer the year goes on, the more options pop up. The portal starts to get flooded. The JUCO jamborees start happening. The college coaches are going down there. The prep school tournaments start. All that stuff starts, and all of those guys are 19, are starting at 19, 20, 21, 22, all the way up to 24, 25 years old. And now they're older, and now as a coach, you're seeing what your team possibly needs. You're saying, okay, I need some experience. That's the first I hear that. I hear it every day. I need guys with experience. I need guys that are ready to play right away.
Mm-hmm.
And as a young guard, you're competing. You're in a no-win situation. Like I said, I gave you some numbers the other day. Dell, when I brought it up, the top 600 players in the country, those are the mid-major on up guys. They're fine. They're going to get they're going to get scholarships and they're going to be fine. The next 600 guys in the country are normally Division I players too, because that's like 3.5 kids a year for every school if you break it down. So the next 600 guys a year, they're Division I players also normally, but normally at the low to mid level. Those guys aren't fine. That number is cut by about 60% of those guys that used to always get scholarships every year that are still getting scholarships every year. So those guys, that 60% of 600, what's that, 360 kids are left out there. And they're left out there scrambling, not understand. And half of those kids, more than half of those kids, probably don't understand this market that has changed. And it's an ever-changing market. It's shifting. It's shifting by the week, and it's stuff that we have to keep up with. How things change every year with how the market shifts.
So but I think it's an opportunity for AAU coaches, high school coaches to separate themselves by forming relationships with college coaches, college assistants, because this business has always been about relationship. There's certain people, if they pick up the phone and call me, I stop what I'm doing and I come and I evaluate a kid or I take a hard look at a kid. And I think in the way things are changing, I think that the credibility of the high school coach and the AAU coach and forming relationships and getting people to come in and see their kids now separates those coaches from getting kids coming to their programs, because kids that come to their program, you can brag and use the fact that I've got relationships and I can help place you where you're supposed to be. And I just think that, wherever, there's a problem, there's an opportunity. That's the way I've always looked at life. And I just think it's a great opportunity now for those coaches that have always done great diligence and all like that to be able to and have the credibility to pick up the phone and form relationships with these young assistants, with the college coaches and all. Like, if Dell picked up the phone, he was one of about 10 guys I knew. If he picked up the phone and said, P, you need to get here, this guy can play, I stopped what I was doing to come see him. And I think now if I'm a high school coach or AAU coach, I'm working to form those relationships and that credibility, because my kids are going to be able to find a place in this marketplace. And if they do that, I'm going to get more kids in the back end to better my program because they know I can place them.
And just for the local people who are listening to this, it was those phone calls. South Carolina was Dante Scott's first offer, Division I offer, and South Carolina was Taquan Woodley's first Division I offer. They were both in the 10th grade when those offers came through. Now, in this day and age, like Amauro said, you might want to take that before you hit the junior prom, but
no, not really. I mean, guys that are at that level don't have to worry normally. It's the guys that are below that level who are in low. They in trouble. They're in a little bit of trouble.
Because I made a couple phone calls and guys that I know, and they told me, look, we come and see them, sit tight, because we might have some guys leaving, going in the portal. So it's like a catch-22, because they might not have a scholarship or guys are leaving. And now are you willing to wait and see if a guy is going to leave? Or you want to jump and go Division II, Division III, and see.
NAIA.
So, yes, it works both ways if they have it or they wait and see. It's a waiting game now. I see it as a waiting game. When you this late in the process.
it's so disruptive. That's the one thing we can all agree on. The way things have been done in the past has been absolutely blown up. It's shattered. My question is this the new normal, or do you see the NCAA trying to come up with some way to claw some of this back through some kind of regulations? I mean, what we have right now is absolutely pure free agency on that first transfer market. You can choose to go wherever you want to go, and you don't have to sit out. And you don't have to run it by anybody. You don't have to run it by your coach or your AD. You just call them and say, hey, man, put me in the portal. I mean, is that the new normal for the long term?
Well, first of all, I think you have to understand why the NCAA moved to do that. They moved to do that because and empower the student athlete because they were afraid of the new stuff coming in.
Money.
Because of the ML, what's the
NIL,
the NLI. Okay, they were trying to fight that. All right, and they wanted to try to go to the courts to fight it, but they had never won a battle in the court. So what they did they tried to go and start empowering the players to show the courts that, hey, we are player friendly. We aren't this, plantation mentality. We're not these ogres that are trying to control all these kids. And that was their effort. They felt they had to give something up to be able to get that foothold. And what they wound up doing was losing on both fronts. But that's where it started because they wanted to show that they are student friendly, and they were going to give the kids the same rights that a coach could have as far as leaving and without penalties and things like that. So could that change? Yes, that could wind up changing and reversing itself. I mean, if you live long, like I remember when you couldn't have agents talk to kids, in high school. Now they can have agents for the NLI. I mean, and what's the difference? I mean, so this whole thing has gone backwards. But I think understanding why it was put in, and now they're finding how disruptive it is. I would not be surprised in 2-3 years if there is some rollback in it. But what we're talking about right now, how do you deal with it? Because it does hurt a certain segment of the population, and how do you try to solve that? And it's called collateral damage. I mean, I don't know really. It's a buyer's market right now, so to speak, and so you've got to find a way to adjust. And I still think relationships and forming as many relationships and having as much credibility with the coaches and all like that as you can, you get a chance to help a lot of your players.
Well, Bass, you got a high major prospect, and you got the two guys that are borderline D1, maybe D2, and you got probably a D3, kid on your roster as well. Now, Amauro, you got mostly D1s, but you got some highs, you got some mids, you got some lows. How do you approach your families and your people to try to get them to understand what they're facing out there?
Well, what happens with our guys, like if let's say the guys who are like low major guys on my roster get scholarship offers, let's say in April, which is in a couple of weeks, it's right up the road. So let's say the second live period, which is the third weekend in April, I have a low major, low to mid prospect who gets 2 offers. I would push him to do a quick study to research those 2 schools, and then I got to kind of see where that kid is trending towards. Like, is that kid trending towards getting more and more offers, or did that kid just trick the system and just trick some college coaches into thinking that he was something that he wasn't? If the latter is in fact the case, it's my job to tell him and his parents, listen, do some research real quick on them 2 schools, but before the end of this school year, before June,
lock it in.
Pick one of them schools. Before you finish your junior year, pick one of those 2 schools get it out of the way. And obviously, I got to make sure that those are real offers and things of that nature also, because that's a whole nother story for another day. Yeah. but that would be my advice for a kid in that particular situation. Take one of those offers because they may dry up and you may be asked out if you don't.
I would say with my guys and the parents, first to educate them because they don't know. Educate them, and like Amauro said, do your research and let them know what's real and what's not real. You know, if you're honest and upfront, they're gonna be angry with you, but it'll be the truth. Either they're gonna believe it or they're gonna say, you know what, coach, you full of shit. I'm gonna go this way. There's so much you can do, but as long as you put it out there and you tell them and you educate them, this is real. This coach been here for you since day one. Either go to that school or tell that coach you're moving on. I just think you had to educate them, tell them, look, this is what's real and this is what's not real. Or I had a couple kids that want to play AAU. They might want to go to prep school. So we got to do our work at prep school. Is this the right AAU fit for you? You want to get looks? Or you want to go this Division II? Because, hey, these colleges is not going to wait for you. So they're gonna put you on the clock. So you either going to make the decision or not.
An explosion in the number of prep schools, basketball academies. Even just around here, I mean, we got a bunch of them now. They all popping up. Do you guys agree that for that lower end, that low major kid, and maybe had one or two soft offers, but he had 7 or 8 D2 offers, maybe some NAIA offers? Given the changes that we're acknowledging, should we push those kids to really visit those D2s and those NAIAs and get those parents to really talk to these people about what the scholarship entails? Because those scholarships may or may not be full scholarships. But if these people get close to covering all your college expenses, shouldn't we tell those kids maybe they should take a hard look at that stuff? What you think, Perry?
Oh, without question. I mean, I remember when I was coming out and I played for Morgan Wooten, and I would walk in and I told him, I wanted to go to the University of Southern California. He said, well, academically, you can really get in and you can do well, but he let me know I couldn't play there. And so, but I think that was a nice way of telling me that. But I think you have to kind of let them know, and this may be your level, and then like the coaches said, they got to accept it, And when you're honest with people, they may not be happy with you, but at the end of the day, they can't be mad at you, or they have to respect you because you told them the truth. And I just think advising the best way you can in the situation with the landscape is the best that you can do. Now, us, like we ain't gonna always accept. We gonna think we know we got a better way, or the barber told me that my son should be playing here, and the guy in the grocery store said my son should. So we always gonna get that, and that's just part of us, developing and helping our neighborhoods, our communities, and our kids.
Amauro?
Yeah, it's a really slippery slope when you're trying to explain the truth to kids and parents who have a dream. Yeah. And you don't want to be known as a dream crusher, but you also do have to be honest with people. And sometimes in being honest, it puts you in a real precarious position because, people really, nowadays more than ever, people are really sensitive nowadays. I mean, we started off talking about Coach Chaney. I don't know how he would make it in this day and age because people are really, really, really sensitive in these times. I mean, it's really, really, it's odd. I mean, just how people can't take anything, can't take the heat, can't take the truth.
I've actually seen young black boys with 3.7, 3.8 GPAs, 1,300 SATs. Now, those numbers will get you full scholarships at a lot of places, and a lot of black schools. Probably 90% of black schools will give you a full ride with that academic profile. And the dad was dead set on not leading with the academics. They wanted to lead with the basketball. And I said, man, if they pay you because he got 1,300, what's the difference? Just go walk on, be on the team. And they want to say they want a Division I scholarship. What's your take on this, man?
I would say, if you're academically square, go get the academics. So that, because you might 9 times out of 10 you're not going to the league. You might go
make that
overseas
team
and make
you
good
make
money.
that D3 team.
Take it.
Want to give you that scholarship.
Yes, take it
and go out for the team.
Yep, take it. Take the scholarship and work your tail off and get on the team.
Well, I think the desire to have that press conference at the school and put on that hat
and put it on social media. Make that video. You know,
it overrides all rational thinking, man. I mean, literally overrides it, man.
Because they want to know what the streets are saying.
Yeah, I know what the admissions officers say. That little black boy got a 3.7 and a 1,300. Call his daddy right now. We just don't put out a lot of kids with those kind of profiles, man. They're rare. We put out a lot of, point guards that can't go left. They're a dime a dozen.
Right. Well, but I also think you got to. We got to getting a college education and getting that paid for, and putting yourself in a position in life so that you can have a level of success should be the priority. Mm-hmm. And people have said that, and it goes on deaf ears a lot of times because it's not glamorous. But that should always be the objective. I played at Gettysburg College, and that experience allowed me to get a foothold in life. And it was the ability to allow me to do a lot of things, I wasn't like, I tease guys that played at high levels like John Lucas and, guys like that. I wasn't born like them, and I didn't have that ability. So you make the best out of what you have. But I tease John, I got an ACC championship ring. He doesn't have one. So you still have the ability to wind up doing certain things. I tease him, I got a Final Four ring. He doesn't have one, so you can still, and that's my message to these kids. You can still find another way to get your dreams if you have perseverance. And, but it's hard. And that's why I always respect you guys in dealing with the kids at the grassroots level, because, you guys are just so important because you guys plant the seed. They don't call it grassroots for nothing. That's where the growing starts. And that's where a level of respect for what you do and how you do it, because you touch more kids than any college coach could ever do. And it's not easy, like Coach said, you don't want to be a dream killer, but yet you have to bring some reality to that dream.
So what do you guys, I think that's some good advice for the parents. Mauro, Bass, what do you guys have as we close this little session out for the parents, man? It's facing it. And it feels, they have to feel like they're on like a sheet of ice. They just can't really get a grip. They don't know which way to go, and unfortunately, we disagree in our assessments of kids. There are kids out there where all three of us will probably say, he should take that D2. But you may have the one high school guy or the AAU guy that just, for whatever reason, he needs that kid to go Division I. So he'll tell that kid to pass up. Wait, don't take it. Don't visit there. How do you deal with parents who are getting all these conflicting messages right now?
No matter how big or small, listen to them all. That's pretty much my motto right now, especially for kind of borderline bubble type kids. Listen to anybody and everybody's sales pitch. guys that become Division II All-Americans and Division III All-Americans can play Division I basketball more often than not. But they chose a different path because they said, okay, maybe I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get here. So let me go here and be great. So for me, it's about, with the parents, you got, get out your feelings, I get it. But go in and listen to what people got to say. There's a whole big world out here, and basketball never stops. You heard what Coach Clark just said. He went to Gettysburg. Gettysburg's a high academic Division III school. I have a kid there right now that came from my program. And look where he's been. Like I said, I remember Coach Clark almost 30 years ago at Tulane running 2 starting fives out there. And keeping all those guys happy with 10 starters. So basketball can take you a lot of places. It don't matter where you start at, where you go to college at. It can take you everywhere. But you have to have an open mind and listen to everybody and start your journey. Stop prolonging the journey.
Yeah.
Stop prolonging the journey. All you doing is you running around 4 corners just to get across the street. You know what I mean? It's not conducive to success, just prolonging things. The market is going to tell you who you are or what you are and what your value is. And you have to kind of go along with that. Whoa, did Kentucky just lose?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
85-79.
Is that a 215? What's that?
Got Kentucky up out of there.
That's a 215, right?
Yep.
15-2.
Mm-hmm.
Shaheen Holloway might be the next coach at UMass, folks.
Wow, that would be poetic justice after beating him in the tournament. Bass, what'd you say to the folks?
Well, I would say like you said, to the parents, stop living your dream through your kids. A lot of them do that. And I've seen it coaching on the sideline with high school and the parents. Stop living your dreams. Get your circle small and listen to who has your son's or daughter's best interest in heart. Because a lot of them don't. And like you say, get out your feelings because your son and daughter are what they are. And I want the best for them. Mauro want the best for them. Everybody on this show want the best for your kids. So we're not going to tell them anything wrong. We're not going to tell you anything wrong. So just listen and try to trust your inner circle and believe. But you gotta sometimes get out the way and let their game and let their academics settle it for you.
All right. Well, Perry, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Where can they see you, man? What game are you doing this weekend, Perry?
I'm doing the SMU Washington State game with second round of the NIT.
What network?
So,
what network?
ESPN. I'm not sure if it's on ESPN2 or ESPN Plus because the NCAA is going to be rolling right along the same side. But let me just say this in closing. I think the Philadelphia basketball community has always been one of the most supportive communities of its young and developing its own talent and taking care of its young of any city in the United States. And I think the pride, I think the character, I think the development of young people has been greater in Philadelphia than any other city that I've ever been associated with because of the history of the city, because of the way the older guys care for the young, and because of the pride that they have in their community. So the guys in Philadelphia do a great job of raising their young. And, when you start saying better than, people start getting offended. But Philadelphia is very, very special with that. And I take my hat off to all of those folks because I know the history of Philadelphia basketball. I know the way you carried it and the guys on the show have carried it. And you don't see that in a lot of communities. So parents need to listen and they need to understand that they're in a very special space.
Whoa. All right, Philly, y'all heard it. Listen to Amauro and Bass and Rob and Lonnie and Terrell and Kamal and all the rest of the guys. Brad Wanamaker, whoever's running that. I agree. I do think we have a lot of really dedicated people who put their heart and soul into it. If I could just get them to all, put the guns down, put the knives away, we'd be all right, P. Still could be ready to rumble on sight, man. But I do agree that all of them really do care about the players in their program. That is real. Anybody got anything else they want to add before we get out of here?
I'm just enjoying this tournament today, man.
I'm ready to turn it on.
New Mexico State just won. St. Peter's just won. Iowa got beat by Richmond. Richmond.
How much of that is the portal? How much of that is the portal? Like
Richmond, I don't know what Richmond. I don't think got anything out of the portal.
They just stayed. All those guys stayed. All those guys stayed. What, 5 years, maybe 6?
Yeah.
They never left.
Yeah, Richmond got an older team and they got a great coach, a Philly guy, and he just beat another Philly guy, and our boy White Magic, Fran McCaffrey. You know what I mean? He just took out Franny McCaffrey. Chris Mooney from Archbishop Ryan took out Franny McCaffrey from LaSalle High School. Mm-hmm. Catholic League on Catholic League crown.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all guys doing this.
Take care, guys. I'll talk to you now. Take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right.